So I think with privatisation, what we want is a fairly broad definition to start with. The one I tend to use is the introduction of market forces into state-run sectors. So by market forces, obviously, what we mean, kind of private enterprise and so on. And people tend to take this to mean as the kind of obvious way in which you might do this, which is what's sometimes called denationalisation. And what that involves is the actual sale of shares, usually, to the private sector. So what happens is you take something like British Gas and you say, right, okay, we're going to, the government owns it, and what we're going to do is we're going to sell that to people who want to buy shares. So what happens is it becomes a PLC. But the second way in which market forces have been introduced into the state sector, especially in the UK over the last 20 or 30 years, and that's this idea of outsourcing or contracting out. And what happens here is that the government retains ownership, generally speaking. Well, it varies a little bit, there are different forms of it. But if you take an example, something like hospital cleaning, then what we do is, instead of the government employing cleaners to clean the hospital, what we do is we outsource, or we contract out the provision to a private sector company. So what happens is that the government pays a private sector firm to do things, to carry out, to do things, to engage in economic activity, to do things that the government used to do. So those two things, those two things between them, are what, generally speaking, we understand by privatisation.